The CIPCO organization, Citizens for a Postal Corporation, was organized about 2.5 months ago as a nonpartisan effort to try to stimulate support for removing the Post Office Department completely from politics and setting it up as a government corporation. We're very optimistic about our chances of doing something in a meaningful way, in a responsible way, to try to implement the suggestions of the Capital Commission report. And that report studied in depth the problems that were concerned with the Post Office Department and how those problems might best be solved. Well, CIPCO, we feel we have both a philosophy and a program, and the philosophy is that outmoded governmental institutions should be completely revamped and made proper with the modern times. And the program we have is to remove the Post Office Department from politics and set it up, run it on an efficient basis as a public corporation.
Well, I don't really worry about it that much. I know there's a possibility of it, but I go out on the field just trying to do my best all the time, and if it ever happens to me, I'll know that I've always done my best, and I'll always feel that I did the job I thought I could do, and I won't have any regrets if I ever did get cut.
John, it's highly unusual for an offensive guard to have two blocks in the same ball game that are out in the open where everybody can see and appreciate the work that you do. And I would suppose it gives you a little bit of a thrill to finally get a little bit of recognition, doesn't it?
Well, Vern, I think I'm doing my job. I get out there and lead many of the plays. If it happens to be in the open field where everybody sees it, it's just fortunate for a fellow like myself. I do the job in thinking that it's important to the play itself. If I'm out there in the middle of the field, I must knock that man down, whether it be in the line or out in the middle where everybody can see it. So I just do the job as it comes along.
On a block like this, for those of us who are uninitiated in the fine art of blocking a man, do you try and use your helmet? It looked like you hit him right about here with the helmet.
Vern, the important thing is to keep your head up. If you put it down, many times I've missed quite a few cut blocks in preseason. And main reason is I've been getting down by the knees, but I've kept my head down, or I keep my head down where I can't see the man. And I've had real fortunate luck with my butt block, so what I do is you have to keep your head up and hit the man probably in the chest, or as best advantage to yourself in knocking the man off balance. That's the important thing in the block. If you don't knock him off balance and at least knock him down, he can react off the play and maybe make it 5 or 10 yards behind you. So the important thing is to hit the man in the chest, keep your head up so you can see him, or at least pick out a point on his chest and then be able to knock the man over.
There's a philosophy behind the working of the agency supported by your United Fund. That philosophy is that the first thing we must offer to anyone in need is the opportunity to learn to stand on his own feet. Self-reliance leads to self-respect. Self-respect is the staff of life to the human spirit. Without it, a man may live in luxury and find it bitter. With it, with self-respect, a man may live on crackers and water and find each new day sweet to contemplate. This is why so many agencies supported by your United Fund are dedicated to physical and vocational rehabilitation. The files of your United Fund are filled to the brim with records of men who crawled into an agency on their knees and walked out proudly, heads held high, and with hard-earned money in their pockets. It's enough to make a man stand up and cheer.
Senator Folsom, Governor Wallace will be in Dallas Monday and Tuesday of next week for the state convention. It has been said that he has not yet announced his running mate. Does he anticipate to announce at that time?
Well, Carl, certainly Governor Wallace is going to have to announce a vice presidential running mate. And though I cannot say specifically when and where he will make this announcement, I feel like there's a good possibility that he may make that announcement here in Dallas.
That it might well be assumed that his mind was elsewhere. It was not. He was weighing what was being said, and when his assessment of the subject matter under discussion was given, it went right to the heart of things. I always found Joe straightforward and direct, a man who would have liked to be with us this morning because he was a person with a solid devotion.
Is it so outmoded?
Well, there are a number of problems. One of the perhaps the most important is the lack of management control by the post office officials themselves. Their area of no control is almost limitless. They have no control over their volume. They have no control over the postal rates that they get. They have no control over the rates they pay their employees, the working conditions, or the facilities. These are all dictated and determined by other organizations, specifically the Congress and other groups. And so they are sort of helpless on this sea of no control. In addition, there are the problems of financial flexibility. Congress and the Bureau of the Budget imposes very severe financial restrictions on the organization. Each year, as it's well known, it takes in less money than it spends, a $1.2 billion deficit each year, and that deficit is growing. Our recommendation is that we establish a postal corporation, take the Post Office Department completely out of politics, establish it as a government corporation whose stock is owned totally by the U.S. Treasury. It would be manned by a 9-man board of directors, responsive to the will of Congress. Rates would be set by a special, sophisticated group of men whose total time would be spent on rate setting. It would be operated on a non-profit, break-even basis.